'Cause when you're not around, everything feels wrong. When no one's ever treated me better.
Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome. Shiv, can you look a little bit happier? We have an awesome special guest this week. Welcome. We do. But guys, everyone in the chat, welcome to Poke Tea Time. My name's Yizzy.
And I'm not Shivam.
And on this channel, we serve you a cup of hot takes from the current news in the Pokemon community. Boom. I said it right, didn't I?
No, we serve you hot takes on what's going on in the Pokemon community.
Yeah, what you said. And try to make your lives easier, add value to your lives when it comes to collecting or whatnot. But we aren't licensed professionals, so definitely do your own research when it comes to that. How you doing, Shiv?
I'm doing all right, just freshen up. Got my fresh Kevin from The Office Hawaiian on,
Okay.
So,
what'd you say?
I had to make a fresh TikTok just for it. So I was like, you know what? I'm already wearing this. Let's bring it on here.
You want to ask me about my haircut?
No.
Yo, I messed up. So you see these lines on this right side? I messed it up. There was lines all day. So I'm like, screw it. Let me just put these lines in right here. That way it looks like I did it on purpose, but I didn't. But yeah.
Just a rundown of what's happening in this evening's podcast.
Mm-hmm. Do what?
I said, give us a rundown of this evening's podcast.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to shout out some people. The Dream, how you doing, Luca? Welcome. Taco Sage, if I said that right. Pokey Kelly, Pokey Brothers, and everyone else. Bezo, Sky June. I'm sorry if I missed your name. But today's rundown, we are going to have Pat Flynn, as you see on the thumbnail, as our special guest this week. I want to let everyone know. Should we let them know about the transition yet? We should do it at the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Starting next week in June, we have a big plans, and we're gonna transition our channel into or Poke Tea Time into its own channel. The link is actually in the description, so check it out. Go ahead and sub. So we will be doing that. Just letting y'all know in case y'all miss it or y'all don't watch the whole thing. But we are once Pat Flynn comes on, we're gonna start a new series which is called Rapid Strike. And
to go, and I was like, don't speak too soon. And then here we are.
Okay, we're back. Okay, where did I leave off on?
You were explaining what Rapid Strike is.
Oh, Rapid Strike, where we ask him a series of questions, and within 30 seconds, and he's going to try to answer all those questions within the time frame. Answer all those questions within that time frame, and then we're going to transition into talking about who he is and where he came from. And then, what is our hot topic of the week, Shiv, in this podcast going to be on?
The hot topic of the week is navigating misinformation in Pokemon.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. But without further ado, boom, Pat Flynn. Welcome.
What's up, y'all?
There he is.
What's up? I hope you guys don't mind if I use sound effects and stuff. Is that cool?
Yeah.
If I show a little bit.
Go ahead. Make this stream, aka podcast, a lot better. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. You got it. I'm here for you guys.
Okay, but before we ask you about yourself, are you ready, Pat Flynn?
Dude, I'm ready. I'm gonna strike first.
Okay.
Or is it Rapid Strike? I don't know which one.
I don't have a timer. You want to take time, Shiv?
Yes, let's do this.
Okay. So basically, just let him know when you say go, and I'll start. Let me know when he hits 20 seconds, when he hits 10 seconds, and then do a 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
Ready, set, go.
Who is your favorite Pokemon?
Houndoom.
What is your favorite card/item in your collection?
My favorite card right now is a Lucky Stadium from the New York Pokemon Center in 2001. I have a video coming out about that, and the story behind it is really interesting. Plus, the art matches the art of the upcoming special delivery Charizard, which is going to be pretty cool.
Ooh, okay. What is the most expensive
5 seconds left.
item? No way.
3, 2.
Wait, really? Most expensive? My Flashfire box.
We said 30. You didn't even give us a 20-second, Shiv.
Hey, man, it works like that. You got to be ready, man.
That was not
Dude,
30
I thought it was
seconds.
30 seconds per question.
Oh,
Was that 30 seconds overall? Are you sure that was
Oh
30
my-
seconds?
that was 30 seconds.
Because I
That's
had
pretty
like about 15 questions ready for him.
bro,
That's
you
2 seconds per question. That's impossible.
gotta be quick with them questions.
Okay, let's do a minute. Let's try it
Let's
one
do
more
it again.
time. Let's do it one minute. One
Okay.
minute. 1 minute.
Give me 30.
All right,
okay,
all
one.
right, all right.
I'm going
Ready?
to go quick answer.
We're going to do
now
1
that I know.
minute. There's about 10, 15 questions, Pat.
All right.
Okay.
Ready, get set, go.
What is your favorite Pokemon?
Houndoom.
What is your favorite card item in your collection?
My Lucky Stadium card.
What is the most expensive item in your collection?
Probably my Flash Fire booster box that I just got the other day.
Okay, who do you think's older, Shiv or Yizzy?
I'm going to say Shiv.
Name all 3 Gen 1 starter Pokemon.
Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. 30K.
What is the first Pokemon item you've ever bought?
The first Pokemon I was a tin from Target.
Oh, who's winning the Super Bowl? The Chiefs or
Bucks.
Buccaneer? How many languages do you speak? Name them all.
2.
Name them.
Oh, Tagalog, a little bit. Mostly the bad words, but I know some.
Which
and
Pokemon
then
would you
English.
bring to a fight?
Scyther.
4.
What is one? Well, out of the Lucky Stadium Flash Fire, which one would you let go first?
Flash Fire.
Boom! He did it. Can we
That was
get that
solid.
sound effect?
That was solid. That was solid.
Hey, congrats, Pat Flynn.
Hey. Thank you.
Yeah. We gave you a second chance because you're our test dummy for this new series called Rapid
Thank you.
Strike Questions.
I'm new here anyway, so I am expecting to be picked on quite a bit. It's all good.
I think you nailed it. That was solid. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, now that we broke the ice on that, and Pat Flynn absolutely hates us now.
Nah.
Go ahead, Shiv. Let's get to know Pat Flynn. Let's get to know.
So who is Pat Flynn? And we myself and Yizzy, we definitely read up on you. When you first popped up on the podcast, I was like, wait, who is Pat Flynn? I saw a little check and I did a little bit of digging. I saw that you've been doing podcasts. You've been running a successful podcast for quite some time now. Your whole premise of what you do is being able to provide information to a lot of people, but also providing value for your audience, and then in return that sort of benefits you in the long run. It's sort of like an investment kind of. You're invested into your audience, and then in return you get something back in the long run. So sort of tell us about yourself and tell us how you got to Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, the Pokemon thing's interesting because I'm fairly new to it. I've been collecting kind of more seriously just for the last 6 months. I actually came with a background in Magic the Gathering, and that's kind of what I was into way back in the day, back in the local card shop. A lot of Tamiya cards, Pogs, and Magic the Gathering. That was kind of what I was into. The Pokemon stuff, my experience with Pokemon was back in 1999, 2000, in fact, when Base Set came out. I worked at a Toys R Us, so I'm aging myself a little bit here, but I worked at a Toys R Us, and every Saturday I was in charge of coming in at 7 a.m., setting up all the tables at the Toys R Us for all these like kids with their greasy fingers to come in with rubber bands around all their decks to come and play with each other. Mm-hmm. And I was there just to make sure nobody got into fights or like stole anything. And so that was my first experience with Pokemon. My first experience collecting Pokemon came as a result of my kids. In fact, I got 2 kids, an 11-year-old boy, 8-year-old daughter. They picked up some packs. They got into it. I got into it. And I go deep whenever I get into anything. Before Pokemon, I was really big into Fortnite. In fact, my son and I played in tournaments together and stuff, and that was really fun. But I like to do whatever the kids are doing because then I can speak the same language. And it's not like how when I was a kid, my dad would just kind of watch me. Like, I want to be there and play with the kids. And then, this Pokemon thing and the whole Logan Paul thing and everything else that's happened since has kind of like skyrocketed my interest. But I have a lot of people ask me like, okay, Deep Pocket Monster, you obviously have maybe a little bit of money to spend as a business owner and entrepreneur. Like, how did you even get into that? Quick story. I got laid off from my architecture job. That's all I wanted to do. That's what I thought I was going to do for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And then I got let go. And that sucked because I didn't have a plan B. I did everything I was supposed to. I went to school, got great grades, went to a good college, UC Berkeley, got a great job, and yet I still got let go. And that didn't feel really good. And so I was like, you know what? I want to take control. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And so what I did is I helped people online pass an architecture exam, like just one little exam that most people's never heard of before. And I ended up making $200,000 in the next year by doing that online. And I got a lot of inspiration from Tim Ferriss and the 4-Hour Work Week and a lot of people like that. And people wanted to know how I did that, how I survived the recession back in '08. And so I just started blogging about that on my blog at smartpassiveincome.com. That took off. People loved the sort of like transparency. I started sharing how much money, where it was all coming from. And ever since then, the brand's just been skyrocketing, and it's been 12 years now. And I'm a published author of 3 books. I've spoken on stages all around the world in front of tens of thousands of people, and a podcast with over 65 million downloads. And I collect cardboard with cartoons on them, and it's the most amazing thing.
I got one of your books, man. Oh, sorry. Bam.
Oh, yay. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
My question is like, behind all the successful endeavors that you've done, what sort of things what sort of keys and pillars and what sort of things have you brought over from that into what you're doing now in regards to Deep Pocket Monster?
Number one, relationships. I think you guys know this and have seen it firsthand. I was in your chat. I was listening, learning, asking questions, connecting with you guys on Instagram afterwards just to say thank you and offer value in whatever way I could. And that's how I got involved with a lot of Revs community, how I got involved with Pokemon Radar. And it's never like I'm going to go target this group of people so that I can get something back. It always comes from just, okay, I'm interested in this world. Here are the players in that world. Let me help them. And whatever happens, happens. There's no better way to grow. And I think it was Zig Ziglar who said, you can never be poor helping other people get what they want. So I'm going to help other people get what they want first. It always comes back in some way, shape, or form. So that's the biggest thing, because I wouldn't be where I'm at as an entrepreneur if it wasn't for other people who I've collaborated with and helped, and I just brought that straight away. In fact, I didn't even have my channel after 4 months of getting involved in communities and moderating Rev's channel and stuff. And that's been really good. And I think a lot of people were kind of weirded out how this guy with a check mark just was like in every comment section, from Twice Baked Jake to you guys to Polish Rob to everybody. Like, who's this dude? Like, he doesn't like, he's just this random entrepreneur. And then in December, I launched my channel with a trailer, and now we're about 1 month into it, and we already have like 5,000 subs. So that's one thing, relationships. Congrats. And I think the second thing is storytelling, right? For me, what's helped me become successful as an entrepreneur are the stories that I tell, because stories are what people connect with. It's what people resonate with. It's what they can relate to. And when I tell stories on stage, people can then remember the lessons that I'm teaching them and the things that I'm talking about. And I brought that over to the Pokemon videos, right? I'm telling stories about how I collected these cards, and I'm using a lot of the fancy equipment that I have as a YouTuber since '09 to make them look good. And you know, I think everybody can tell who watches the videos that I put a lot of time and care into making the cards themselves, the subject matter, look good. But there's always a lesson or life lesson or something tied into it as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You got anything else, Jeff? You want me to go?
Actually,
He's just
when it comes to all of that, how have you like where do you see like your successes lining up with Pokemon? Like, obviously, like for me, like as a relatively new creator, as a collector, so on and so forth. For me, you know, I see, you know, different sort of milestones that I've hit. Like, what sort of milestones have you hit so far with Deep Pocket Monster and your collecting?
In my collecting, you know, it's just, first of all, to be able to get access to information has been really key, right? And I think that's a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight, because there's a lot of great people with great information, and then there's a lot of great information that isn't actually true. And when it involves money and hype and FOMO, it's like a lot of people are going broke or perhaps buying things. And so I'm noticing that there's a lot of correlation between what I do as an entrepreneur and getting in the collecting space, not just the relationship part, but like what I'm doing. Like I had this video that was really popular that talks about this thing called the riches are in the niches. You're trying to build a business, for example. If you try to serve everybody, if you build a business that has every item in the world with it, it's like you're not going to be helpful. It's going to be way too logistically hard to manage that. Plus, a person who comes into your store is going to be like, this is everything. This is like the dollar store, but everything's expensive, versus you're the running shoe store, and anybody who walks in the store knows exactly why they're going there. You know exactly the language to say. You know exactly who your manufacturing line is down the line. And all the things relate to that. So with collecting, it's like, I want to collect everything. When I got into it, I wanted every card, but it's not $19.99, and I would go broke. So I'm going to find my niche and really dive into who like knows about that. Like if I was into trophy cards, I would go to S and Pratt and probably pay to get access to his Patreon to get direct access to him so I can learn information more, because if I can just spend a little bit of money up front to learn from these guys who have made mistakes and like know the world and I can trust them, then it's going to save me so much more money and time especially. And that's key to me as well. And along the way, I've been met with really great cards that have been entered into my collection, and at the same time, I've already made a lot of mistakes, and I'm an open book wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I think for most people, you know, like I know that I'm very transparent about my mistakes when I first got back into the hobby. Knows that I'm very adamant about keeping things sealed and not opening packs, especially if you're balling on a budget and that money and saving up to buy things that are going to sit in your collection, that are going to last a lot longer. And then on top of that, you won't regret opening a $4 pack and losing $3.99 on a pack. You know, one thing I really do like about your YouTube channel is like you said, the storytelling. I think a lot of people miss out on storytelling, especially on YouTube channels, especially in this space. Because it's more so pack openings, and so what I think that you bring to the table is just completely different than what most people are doing right now. So I really do like that.
Thank you.
Another thing I do like is the riches and the niches thing. You know, you take it in the sense of like you're focusing on one specific thing in regards to how you collect. Like right now, you're collecting a lot of WotC sealed packs, and then you're wanting to get them graded, and you're trying to complete that as a whole. I think for me, you know, when people look at my collection, there's a lot of randomness, but what you said speaks to it, because I take that very, very literally, right? Like I find very, very.
You want to know something funny? That was actually Polish Rob.
Okay.
He wants to get in on this conversation.
No, seriously, calm down, Polish. Dang.
I was gonna say, essentially, like what I do is like I take things very, very literally. So like I find very, very niche cards. Like let's say first appearance Lugia, or let's say Topps cards or Meiji cards or specific kind of Meiji cards, and I take that very, very literally, and that's how I see myself with your slogan, "The riches are in the niches." So that's something that I found really, really interesting. Because like when you said it, I was like, wait. Like my collection's like all over the place. Like I collect toys, I collect Pokemon food, I collect like weird cards, and I was like, wait, this is like very, very literal. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you can collect more than one thing. Right. I think it's just to give you some direction, to know where your money should go, to know who to learn from, to know where to get those cards. Like everything is so much easier when you kind of have some understanding of what it is you're collecting. For example, not only am I collecting WotC sealed WotC sealed PSA 10s, in fact, but I'm also collecting some XY and Sword and Shield sealed boxes. I'm also very much a fan of any Pikachu promos, all the way from the Mario Pikachus to a lot of the Japanese Pokemon Center opening promos to special delivery Pikachu and all those kinds of things, because they all have a story. I also feel from an investor's point of view, those things normally aren't printed to oblivion. There's also a story behind that promo, and it means something. Right. So to me, that's just what's interesting to me, and I'm not saying it's what everybody should do. That's how I'm approaching my channel too. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm learning. Here's more information so you can have some like more knowledge to do stuff with it. I'm not going to tell anybody go get this card, or waifus are in, go and whatever. But already on my comments, I've seen people go, wow, I never thought of that. Thank you. And I've had a few people email me already saying, wow, you've given me some focus in my collection, which I guess that's why I'm doing this, to help others.
I think it's complete. Sorry to cut you off. I think what you're doing is actually really, really smart, because like it's sort of like when you see someone like you know how when you go to the gym you see like a before, or like when you're on Instagram you see a before and after of a person and their progress in regards to working out. I think what you're doing is really, really smart, because you're showing yourself and you're showing the fact that you're really, really new to Pokemon. But in the process, you're actually getting yourself very, very educated, and then you're showing the process of how you got educated on the subject matter. And then eventually down the road, we're going to see yourself at this, pillar like, let's say, Leonhardt or, SM Pratt. We're going to see you at that point. So that
I don't know.
I know, dang.
It right now in regards to YouTube.
Yeah. I know. So when I came into this hobby, I used to watch different types of content, and when I came into this, I saw Leonhardt first. But the videos seem pretty the same all around. When you see as far as B-rolls or if you see any type of content, there's always a different perspective or a different lens you see it through. But when it came to Pokemon content, I was like, okay, you always have that square on the side and you have the card cam. And it's consistent throughout any Pokemon content or Pokemon card openings that you see. And when I started, I was like, I want to change this. I want to be different. But then I end up doing the same thing, just the cam. So I guess my question, or how do you feel, what are your ideas as far as different styles of creating this content from even physical standpoint? I see like what you're doing. You're telling a story, and I don't see that a lot. Like your journey, and people can relate with that. Like I was even relating with. I'm like, that's cool. Like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Like instead of just opening packs and saying the names, you're like, hey, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been thinking, and you're very surgical with what you say. But
thank you.
I guess what I'm trying to ask is, what other ideas do you have that Pokemon may be in the future, or how it can transition into, you know, the upper echelon of content creating when it comes to YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, some people might go, well, I'm going to get the better camera, right? Because I want the quality of my videos to be better. And that's one way that you can do it. That's where I feel like I have a little bit of an unfair advantage in this space, because I already have access to all this stuff, including, don't be scared, this thing right here, which many of you have seen in action. This is
calm down.
This is family-friendly show, right? This is a probe lens. So this is actually a camera lens that gets you so up close, like literally millimeters from the car, but you could still see it in full detail. A lot of my shorts, which I saw somebody comment about
genius.
that earlier.
That was genius. Oh my god. Okay, keep going.
People are loving that. So that's one way, right? Like, what does the end result look like? Could be one thing that stands out. Another thing could be something like the storytelling, like what I do. But honestly, there's only so many things we can do, right? So you're going to have the videos that look similar with the box in the corner and the card openings. And sometimes you don't need to change what is already proven to be working. But where I think most of us can benefit from is putting more of ourselves and our own personality into things, and not try to be like Leonhard, or not try to be like, you know, S. M. Pratt, but just be you, because guess what? Nobody else in the world is like you. So why wouldn't you use that to your advantage, right? And so I'm putting a lot of my dad jokes and stupid antics into my videos, because that's just who I am, like literally, that nobody else could take from me. And you know, I think that's really key. So like Yizzy, I would just lean into you more, and all the things that make you like weird, because you're weird, I'm weird, Shivam's weird, we're all weird. We need to embrace that weird. You know, I mean, I think we're all a little weird, but it's kidding. When we try to be like somebody else is when it's like, oh, well, you're only going to be second at best because you're trying to copy somebody else's stuff. So just lean into you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. It's just a thought that I had, like, right when I jumped in. I'm like, everything's the same. Like, I want to change it up, but I end up going back. But that's a good point. Just, like, be yourself when it comes down to it.
I think for myself, like when I first started content creating on here, well, not specifically YouTube, but my Instagram page and TikTok, I early on, I knew I didn't want to be compared to anyone. So like I wanted to take a different approach. Like I basically said, I'm not opening any packs whatsoever. And a lot of people saw that was completely different. And, you know, that's pretty cool that I grew my page simply off of not opening packs. But I doubled down on myself. You know, a lot of people don't really like my bluntness, but some people do. I'm kind of like my dad in that regard. But I'm just like, I'm really transparent. I'm really straightforward to people. And either some people like it and some people don't. But it's just one or the other. And so I don't know where Yizzy just went, but this is Cam.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. But anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Like I just doubled down on myself, and I think it just worked out really, really well, whether it's TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah. But I like how you did it, Pat. When I was thinking of like an Aerodactyl. Like it was coming in from like the corner, and she's like, "Meow." Yeah. I thought it was cool. I'm like, man, why didn't I think about that? And then like B-rolling as you're talking about it, and it could be more of a voiceover at that point, and coming in and out, maybe like an editing Yizzy coming in, you know, and just talking about it for a second as I'm like siphoning through the cards or something like that. Like a interesting fact. I don't know. I just been thinking of ideas to change it, but you have inspired me when I saw yours. I'm like, wow, that's like actually something.
Thank you.
And I didn't want to copy you too. I was like, man, I wish I would have thought of that first, because like I see what you did, in that video that people incorporate in theirs that are non-Pokemon channels. So that's like
Exactly. I mean, I didn't invent this stuff. I'm pulling inspiration from all different places.
Yeah.
And I'm going, wow, that'd be kind of cool here too. So the world's open. You can see who else is doing what, and you can adapt and make it your own, right?
Yeah.
With the B-roll and stuff, I know as a YouTuber since 2009, I have 250,000 people on my main channel. Like, the first minute of a video is so important. That's when you put all the flashy things, all the cuts, all the zoom ins, zoom outs, the B-roll, because if you can get a person to stick around for the first minute, they're more likely to stick around for later, versus, you know, sometimes we just don't think about that, and then the algorithm doesn't help you.
Yeah.
If you're a YouTuber, you need to help YouTube get what they want. They want people to stick around, because the more people that stick around, the more ads they can serve and the more money they make. So when they see that you're helping them do that, they're going to push you out. Which is why my mystery box video, which was published, I think, you know, a week ago, already has like 75,000 views. It's because I know exactly how YouTube works. You create a bunch of open loops, you get people excited, and it's so funny because I did make a mistake in that video. I revealed the final PSA slab that was in this mystery box, which was like a dud box, by the way. And as soon as that moment happened in the video, I could see that everybody left, like literally cliff diving. They're leaving the video. So I know next time to go, okay, well, I'm not going to reveal the last thing until after the call to actions and please subscribe and thanks for watching and all that stuff, which was at the end before. So just paying attention to analytics has been really helpful. And, you know, I also just want to help be an example for others too.
Yeah. It's sort of like TikTok too. TikTok is really difficult because you have to grab attention within like the first 2 seconds, or people are going to scroll, and then if they scroll past you, the algorithm just shuts you down completely. Yeah. So it's exactly like that.
Mine's 1 second.
Next subject, unless next topic, unless Izzy doesn't have anything else.
I think we got a good grasp of who Pat Flynn is. Yeah.
I think so.
He's an author. He invented the Switch Pod, right?
I did invent the Switch Pod. Yeah, that's right. I have it.
I knew about the Switch Pod before I even knew Pat Flynn, and like I remember delving deep into like content creating. Ooh, that's cool. Content creating, and I follow Sean. Is it Sean McCann? It's Sean something.
Sean McCabe.
Yeah, and then they're reviewing that, and then when I saw your video, I'm like, holy crap, he invented that. That's cool. That's super cool.
That's cool. That's the first product that like the product speaks for itself. Like a lot of people don't know that I was behind that. Everything else that I have is all connected to me, and that's a good thing, but also a bad thing, because if I stop, then my income stops. Right now, I do have things working passively, but this product, like, I could sell it. I could sell the whole company, and you know, it's not directly tied to me, which is pretty cool.
Sweet. But other than that, yeah, I think we should go on to the spicy topic of the week.
Yeah, so the spicy topic of the week is battling misinformation in the Pokemon community. We're seeing a lot of hype, and some people would say it's unprecedented. Some people would say they knew this sort of stuff was coming. At this point, I could probably say that a lot of this stuff is very, very expected. Like, I'm not even surprised anymore. It's just so some of the antics sort of it just kind of surprises me. That's the only thing that surprises me. We're seeing a lot of 10K Pikachus from cereal boxes. We're seeing 5-figure special delivery Pikachu sell. We're seeing a lot of different stuff where it just blows my mind, but at the same time it doesn't. So you're relatively new to the collecting space. How are you navigating misinformation and what is legitimate information? Like how are you navigating what is something worth buying and investing and collecting versus this is not even worth my time?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I always do is I question everything, right? Yeah. Why did you say that? Why do they think that? I'm not going to discount them. I'm not going to say that they're wrong, because I don't know if they're wrong. But when I try to find out why they said that, then I can collect more information and then make my own informed decision. And that, combined with finding others who I trust, who I don't have to ask why about all the time, but I can sort of take more of their stuff more seriously, then those two things combined can give me at least enough information to make a smart decision. I think that where we run into trouble, and maybe this is just because of the era we live in right now and everything's so connected, everything's so fast, we almost feel like we're going to miss out on something, and we'd much rather do something because we're afraid of missing out versus do something because we're going to gain something, right? We'd much rather do something to avoid losing it. So therefore, we take action now. We, make not so great decisions because of the FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? The other thing that I often question is like, well, what would happen if I don't take advantage of this, right? If there's an offer, if there's something happening and I might want to get behind it, I always try to like zoom out of myself because I think, we're emotional beings. We are irrational. We're a completely irrational species, right? When we look at it on paper, sometimes things are so obvious, but when you're in the moment and there's emotions and there's money and there's like all that stuff involved and hype, we make dumb decisions. So more information, better. I zoom out and I start asking myself, well, if I were to miss out on this opportunity, what would be the consequence, right? And so if I go, well, if I miss out on the waifu movement, how is that going to affect the rest of my collection? It won't, because I'm not interested in that. So I don't have to start buying lilies all over the place or spending money in that way, right? So it's hard because it really comes down to who do you trust. And I think that there is such a thing as mob mentality, and we're seeing this with the GameStop and AMC stuff right now completely. Although there's many more layers related to the situation happening now, but at the same time, it's very similar in regards to what is happening and the hype and the movement. So information, really, knowledge. I don't have a garage, but yeah.
Yeah. What are the steps that you are taking, right? Like let's say you see, special delivery Pikachu. What are the steps that you personally do in regards to figuring out whether or not this is going to benefit you, or if this is just something that you can just completely ignore?
So with special delivery Pikachu, I got 2 because I just wanted them. There was no in regards to investing or anything like that.
Right.
Obviously, I had no idea that it was going to get to this level that it's at now. But I just got them because I thought they were cool, and I got the little plushies, and I gave them to my kids for Christmas, and I got the little ornaments. And then, of course, the price goes up, and then I start going, wow, what is going on here? Why is it doing this? And, of course, there's a lot of factors with regards to that. I start talking to a lot of other people, getting involved in communities like this. I think I came here to ask you guys a question about special delivery Pikachu not too long ago either. And just trying to find all sides of it. Because, again, when I can see all the angles, I'm more likely to know where to enter, right? Or where the safest spot to enter is. And it's hard because when you're in it, it's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. So I need to get outside of the bottle so I can see what's going on. And with special delivery Pikachu, obviously price going up, then there's kind of like a decision point, right? Do I sell this thing? Do I keep it? Do I get it graded or what? And then I saw it go for 4K the other day. And I'm like, why did it do that? Again, asking the same question. And then, of course, you dig deeper. You start talking to people. Oh, it was probably shill did it. It was a person with zero history. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's an anomaly. Good thing I didn't just go, wow, 14.4, boom, let's go get these things express graded for $400 and maybe lose out on that. But more conversations really is where it's at, which is really showing you the importance of community and connection and trying to get, into like a group of smart people. I always want to be in the Pokemon space or as an entrepreneur. I want to be the dumbest person in the room because then I know I can absorb all that information from others.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different factors into it. So like when you see a lot of influencers, right, and they're also trying to hype up certain stuff, are you like actually going on PSA's pop report? Are you actually trying to see whether or not certain cards are very difficult to grade? Like what is your experience in regards to that?
Definitely doing research in the pop reports, looking at listed eBay sales. And the more you do this, just the more you start to pick up on the language, right? The more you start to see patterns. And even if something is happening that I am not interested in, I still want to try to get interested in it because it may be a pattern or something that happens now that relates to then something that is of interest to me later. So part of that is, PSA, research for sure, going into eBay listings, and then a lot of forum diving, right? Going into Reddit, going into E4, and just like kind of looking around and just kind of reading about what's happening and seeing if I can collect even more info. And then even like DMing a few people. And, you know, I'm very grateful that I've been able to build a relationship with a lot of people online now in the Pokemon space, such that if I have a question, I've already helped them enough to feel comfortable asking them a question versus, and that's what I like to call digging your well before you're thirsty. You develop these relationships so that should there come a point in time later you might need something, it's not going to come out of nowhere, right? Like your friend who you haven't talked to for 5 years, you're like, hey man, I know we haven't chatted for a while, but I have an ebook about dog training that I'd love for you to help promote for me. And it's like, bro, you haven't even talked to me for 5 years.
Yeah.
Versus like, you know, just keeping up with the relationships to a point where maybe you get laid off or something. And then you can reach out and be like, hey, I got laid off. Do you happen to have anything for me? And it doesn't feel weird anymore. Right. And I have these relationships now in the Pokemon space where if I'm like, dude, what's going on with this card? Like, do you have any thoughts about that? A person might send me a voice message or comment on it really quick. And now I have 90% more information than most people.
Yeah.
Right.
That happened to me the other day. I haven't talked to someone in like 3-4 months, and they're like, yo, I just moved and got a new house. And I was like, cool. And they're like, you want to help me move? And I was like, when? They said, Sunday. And I'm like, oh, I'm busy. Like instant. And I was like, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm probably busy. I'm busy.
I think the biggest thing for me is like when I started in Pokemon a year and a half ago, and I started taking content creating and collecting very seriously in September, at the beginning of September. I actually like on my way to Nashville with my best friend for his bachelor party. But essentially around December, after December, once 2020 started, I was like, I'm going to start focusing on building relationships and providing value to as many people as possible. And that means, putting out as much content as possible, trying to be informative, whether it's, TikToks, just trying to be the best I can possibly be in regards to providing value for people. And I know a lot of people who are in here who are, trying to become content creators, who are trying to grow their own following. I know a lot of them is like, oh, but Shivam, how did you, get into contact with Rev? How did you get into contact with yourself? How did you get into contact with, Jarvis Johnson and so on and so forth? Well, the thing is that when you provide so much value and you're very transparent and people see that you're very informative and educational, then it's a lot easier for a lot of these bigger people to reach out to you and see what you have in regards to your opinion. Like if you become super knowledgeable, let's say about Topps cards, then what will happen is that eventually you'll have, the Rhyme Styles and the Leonhards of the Pokemon community reach out to you, and you can provide and constantly provide that sort of value to them. And I mean, they might not follow you in the return, but like the fact that you're able to consistently have those sorts of people in your corner, that's very, very valuable in itself. And eventually down the road, they can help you out. And so that I just wanted to build off of what you just said.
Well said, man. Love that. Love that a lot. Yeah, I mean, even like if ever I wanted to get interested in Pokemon trophy cards, right? Yeah. I know exactly who to go to for that. Yep. And it's because I've built a relationship with those people before too. So what I'm giving myself and what you're giving yourself, both of you, are more options, right? And that's the beauty of this. We're giving ourselves options to now have direction to go wherever we really want to go versus just feeling like tied down and kind of lost. And when you have other people in your corner and you start building advocates for you, you can go anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think one of the you and I also spoke about was when it comes to content, right? So many people are focused on numbers, and the thing is that when it comes to let's say TikTok, for example, you might get 1,000 views off of a TikTok video, but if that one TikTok video reaches the right person, then it benefits you so much more. Like like my following isn't that, large on TikTok in comparison to everyone else's. But, you might get a TikTok and you might get someone who is verified, whether it's Instagram or anything of the sort, who is affluent, who knows what it takes to be successful in the content creating space. And, when you provide them value, eventually they can help you out in regards to building up your own following. And, any sort of questions that you have, they're more than happy to answer and help.
Dude, for sure. Like if either of you ever need help with podcasting or video, dude, I'm there for you. Like you don't even have to worry about asking. Like just reach out to me because you're providing a ton of value having me on the show right now. And this is the cool thing about the world we live in now. We have the easy ability to connect with others and share and collaborate and stuff. And so I'm just very grateful for that. And a lot of people here in the room, Jeff the Ref is another person who's provided value to me, and I'll step up to bat for him too. Like you don't need even video to do it. You just need a care for what value means to somebody else, because everybody else needs something else. And even if you don't know how to do that thing, you can connect them to the right person, and that is value itself too.
Yeah. And it's not even about like, oh, I'm trying to connect with someone who has a large following. Like, I have people who I talk to on a regular basis that have 100 followers, 500 followers on Instagram, and they're really good friends of mine. And the reason why is because we provide value to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
No, that's really good. I would like to add something to that, and I said it before. Like, as far as like information goes too, a good thing is there's a lot when you talk about information out there and how do you know to trust or not. People usually know, and then one thing that rings well with me is that like at this point, when people stay or watch certain Pokemon content, they almost know how much you care, right? Like the information is out there. So it's more of like how much you care right now than more how much you know too, Yeah. Like when they look at us, like Shiv, I know in our Discord, like you're the first to defend off all the bullies, in our Discord. And you going on TikTok, 3-4 times a week to do a Q&A?
Yeah, I do. What I do is I go on TikTok and I stream on there for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And, all I do is just answer questions. I'm just there chilling with people. And if they have any sort of specific questions to ask, I'm always there. Like my title for TikTok lives is, Let's Talk Pokemon. And whenever people, let's say they have a question about, grading, I'm there to answer that. Cause there's a lot of people in TikTok that are relatively young. And, there's a lot of misinformation on TikTok more so than anywhere else, where people are just hyping up anything. And I like to combat that by providing, free advice, free conversations in regards to what is legitimate and what's not legitimate, and explaining why something is bad and why something is great.
I want to take a second to thank some of our super chats real quick, because I don't know, I'm a big advocate. Recently, I'm like, man, we should like, I was telling Chef, I'm like, we should like shout some of these people out every time they jump in, because I'm really appreciative, because we wouldn't be here without, the people here. Going back to super fans, I haven't read it, Pat Flynn, I'm not gonna lie, but okay. I got the premises of it. I am working on it. It did come in Thursday, so shout out to Pokey Kobe. Definitely a fellow. Pokey Kobe. All y'all know Pokey Kobe.
Yeah.
Fellow content creator, legend himself, and Eddie Eaton for the $10. #1 fan. Thank you so much. But it's so like back to that. It's the super fans you were talking about. Something that changed your life. I've been doing a little research. An article you said that you read that changed the whole way you looked at it, and it was talking about 1,000 loyal true fans. Was it
true fans? Yeah,
true fans.
I'll tell everybody really quick, because
go ahead.
Life changing for me. So it was an article written by a man named Kevin Kelly, who was a senior editor at Wired magazine. This was back in 2006, and it was called 1,000 True Fans. And the whole premise of this is you don't need 1 million followers. You don't need 1 million, hits on your video. You don't need 1 million anything. You don't need the blockbuster hit. You just need 1,000 true fans. A true fan is somebody who's going to literally be first in every live stream that you create. They're going to be the first to buy your product when it comes out. They're going to be the first person to defend your brand from trolls when they show up. They're going to be the first person to drive 8 hours to see you because you said, hey, let's meet up at this coffee shop, but they live really far away. That's a true fan, right? And if you have 1,000 of them, and imagine a fan paying you $100 a year, which is like less than $10 a month. I mean, we all pay way more for things that we aren't even huge fans of, right? So $100 a year is on the low end. 1,000 true fans times $100 a year is $100,000 business, or $100,000 in your pocket. And that's one fan a day for less than 3 years. So you think about people working, 35, 40 years of their life until they get to six-figure range, and then they're 65 and they can retire, versus 3 years. If you can work on one fan a day, you will have 1,000 true fans. So this showed me that it's about the one-on-one relationships. I go deep into one-on-ones. Even in my business, I have an email list of 250,000 people. I still get on one-on-one calls with people because I get to hear directly from who my customers are and who my prospects are, and I can learn about them, and I can figure out what their story is. and I can help serve them in the way that they can be served. And that's really important. And I love, Shiv, what you mentioned earlier, and both of you, in fact, about having people feel like they're a part of something, right? This whole idea of making them feel like they're being heard, right? Shiv, how you're offering this free advice to people on TikTok. I think that's beautiful, because I think it was Maya Angelou who said, people won't remember what you say, they won't remember what you do, but they'll remember how you make them feel. And right now, people need to feel like they belong to something, right? And I think that's why a lot of these communities pop up, especially in the Pokemon space, because think about how, like, I'm remembering, like, when I was a kid, there were restaurants and there were, like, these comment boxes where you had to write on paper, like, your complaint or whatever, and you put it in this comment box. That was, like, the restaurant's way of saying, like, yeah, we'll listen to you. Here, write it down on this card, put it in this box, and we never heard from or saw those again. They probably went to the shredder, right? And now it's not about just like, oh, yeah, here, you can talk. Now it's like, let's talk together because you're important, and that's really key. So I love that things are, especially with social media, are more into more of an interactive thing where people can feel like they're a part of something. Because when people feel like they're a part of something, when they're involved, they're invested, right? When they're involved, they're invested.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win situation because I love chatting with the community. Like, even some of these people in the chat, like, we talk about Pokemon 3-4 times a week. If Polish Rob is still here, we talk almost every day about content creating, what we've experienced, things we've learned, and I think that's really important too, to be involved and add value to each other. And like, I even do research. Like, I want to learn stuff that way I can actually add value to people too. So it's almost a driving factor for me. And like you said earlier, like, sometimes we talk about money, and like, maybe a lot of these people are prompted to the dollar signs, but it's really not even about the dollar signs. It's like, I'm even willing, because I love this person or because I like what they're telling me, I want to support them at the same time. But yeah, I think it's really cool. It's a win-win situation because I'm really passionate about like what we're doing too. For sure.
Yeah, I'm just really grateful to be in the community and to have been welcomed with open arms, literally from everybody. You guys, Rev's community, Pokemon Radar. I was on Jake's podcast, Pokenomics, and
bring it in, Pat. Bring it in,
dude.
Virtual
Thanks,
hug,
guys.
Virtual hug.
I appreciate it.
On the Pokemon community, because I feel like a lot of people, like to gatekeep, and I think in this case, I feel like if you have nothing but good intentions for the Pokemon community, then I think that you have something to add to the Pokemon community, whether it's, you providing your own hot take on something or how you collect. I think there is room for everyone in Pokemon, and I think everyone has their own taste or flair or spice to add to the Pokemon community. And so, like, if you're doing things the right way, then I mean, I'm gonna welcome anyone with full on. I'm just gonna welcome anyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're gonna go on and we're gonna get to our sleeper of the week.
Ooh.
You guys all know that when it comes to sleepers of the week, we like to get our special guest to give us a sleeper of the week and why. So if you could, Pat Flynn, please provide us some wealth.
Don't let us down, Pat. Don't let us down.
I mean, we all saw Steam Siege hit $250 a box, right? Did we all see that today?
Say it ain't so.
That's not my sleeper, though. That's not my sleeper. I really do think, like, especially with the 25-year anniversary, a lot of the 20th anniversary stuff is going to be huge, and we're already seeing prices go up for that. So a lot of the generation stuff, especially the red and blue boxes or the pin collection, mythical pin collections, those things, if you have them, they're going to go up for sure. I think that's my sleeper, is anything 20th anniversary related, because it's 25th. And a lot of people are remembering what it was like 5 years ago. A lot of those things were kind of also looked down upon. Generations wasn't so huge. And same thing with like Shining Legends, like all that stuff that was like, I don't know. Dude, that stuff's turning around and it's like hot right now. So anything that kind of was meh back then is a sleeper to me.
Oh, man.
That's not bad.
I like it. I almost bought a case. This was early mid-year. A case of generations like the Blastoise and Charizards. That box with the figurine. I did not.
Yeah.
Gosh, they were like I think a whole case which had 6 of them. I think it was like only $300 at the time. It was crazy.
Each of those are 300 now.
Yeah. I know. It's just like,
Sorry, not to make you feel bad, but
yeah.
So like when I first started in the hobby, all I was proponent about, like all the only set that I truly loved that I just kept hyping up was Burning Shadows, because I truly do see that set being like the flash fire of Sun and Moon. That set to me, it's like when people go back 5 years, like 5 years from now, people are going to want to look at the most expensive card within a specific set, and I truly do believe it is that Hyper Rare Charizard GX. And I was like, guys, you got to buy it, and then I've been meaning to buy a case of that for a really, really long time. I don't know what they go for per booster box now, but I know Yizzy has one, and it's like, man, I should have bought that box. But at the same time, I have zero regrets when it comes to things that I miss out on, just because I put that money to something else at that time that was just as great.
Yeah,
exactly. Can I share one more? I have another one that I think is worth looking at too. I always like to over deliver. I know you only asked for one, but I also screwed up the 30-second situation earlier, so I feel like I owe you.
That's for me.
Yeah, I don't think Shiv actually gave you 30 seconds. That felt like 10.
That was the.
Did that not feel like 10 seconds, Pat? Let's be honest.
We'll have to watch the replay. We'll watch the replay to see.
It probably
sure,
was.
But, I definitely think Ultra Prism is going to be a set that's going to become something that a lot of people are going to want, especially with the waifu stuff and Lily in there. I mean, that's going to be a chase card. That's like it's more expensive than I forget what the other chase card was in there, but Ultra Prism I think is very underserved right now.
That's fair. That's right. Plus, it has those cool prism cards.
Yeah.
Are they prism? Cool. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know how much value the prism cards were worth, but other than that, do we want to? What time? What is our time?
We're at
52 minutes. Okay, we're almost hitting our hour. We always go over, but you'll want to do a Q&A at the very end?
Yeah, sure.
Or is there something else?
Yeah, I want to ask Pat, what is your grail right now? What is something that you're hunting for?
Dude, somebody asked me this morning, Luke, on my morning stream, and I don't know yet because I'm still right in the beginning of this. I feel like it's almost like asking a kid when they're young, what do you want to be when you grow up? I hate that question, because how is a kid supposed to know what is out there, who they are, what they're good at, what they're not good at? It's just, I mean, I grew up in a half Asian family, and I'm part Filipino, and it was like doctor, right, or lawyer or architect, and it was like pre-selected before you were 10 years old, right? And it's like, you don't even know who you are. I'm still discovering myself as a Pokemon collector, so I can't answer. I don't know what my holy grail is yet. I think partly because of you and Polish Rob, it is the Ghost Lugia from Topps 2000, the movie. And I have a box and 4 packs of that, but then I saw what happened to Ryan Style when he opened up his. It just scares me to death.
Send me that night, like, before he put it up on.
Oh my god!
Before he put it on YouTube, he was like, he shows me the card because I know he teased it. I was like, don't be shy, show me the front of it. He showed it to me, and I was like, bro, that is the worst thing ever.
Dang.
I want to do some experimentations on, because most of the packs are going to be sticky without anything in it. I want to try like 36 different or 35 different methods to unglue those things.
Yeah. Maybe you can get one pack and then you'll know if it's like sequential, right? Because what was that? I was talking to a guy that bought my Topps Pokemon Series 2, and there's different versions, and based off which versions you got, they were like how they were printed. It's like that some of them don't stick. I think it was like he said the pink ones, they don't stick, and then when you have the red foils, they do stick.
I don't know.
And then when I sold it to him, he asked me all these questions, and I was like, I answered them, and he bought them, and he was like, I didn't know if you didn't know, but you actually gave me the pink versions, which none of them do stick. So they're really good, and thank you. And I'm like, I didn't know, but thank you for educating me. He wrote me like a whole paragraph, which is cool.
No, with this set, everything sticks. It's the worst thing ever. There's never been a PSA 10 for 20 years for those cards. It is one of the worst things ever. I remember buying it buying mine for $860 for my BGS 8, and then a month, and I was like at the same time I was like, man, I shouldn't have showed it on social media, because 2 months later I found myself buying a PSA 8 for $2,000. I'm like, that's the worst thing ever. But
I have a hoot that's at PSA right now. I think you remember seeing that, right, Shiv, in my intro video. It was clean, except there's a little dent on the bottom left corner, so we'll see what happens. But it's one of the cleanest I've seen, at least so far.
That's automatic 5, right, or 6? When there's an impression or a ring dent on the card.
I don't know. With when it comes to these cards, it's a whole different thing, because like they grade a completely different way. I know.
Okay. So they grade.
I spent an entire month. I probably spent like the Pat, like once I bought my first Lugia, I probably spent like 3 or 4 months just buying out every single, whatever opportunity I could buy. I was like buying the most like clearest and most clean, or closest to clean first appearance card on eBay, and I bought like 5 of them, and they're sitting at eBay right now. So yeah, it's tough, because I mean not at eBay, but they're sitting at PSA right now, and I want them back almost immediately, because I did send them like a really, really clean Ladybug. So I'm hoping that does grade relatively well. I don't think it'll get a 10, but I know it'll get at least an 8 or a 9, hopefully.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Matt said auto 6 on micro dance, but yeah, I guess if it's tops, it may be different. So good luck with that, Pat.
I'll let you know. I'll have a video about it.
Oh, for sure. You know we'll be there, and everybody else, guys. If y'all haven't checked out Pat Flynn's Pokemon channel, it's there's. I don't want to act like we're just like giving each other back rubs right now, just because you're on here. But I really do like absolutely enjoy it. It is a different angle. It hits differently compared to any other channel, even ours.
Thanks,
like
man.
I do Pokemon opening and breaks, and I'm just like basic, I feel like, and I want to change it up, not be like Pat Flynn, but what he has done has inspired me to want to like look at it differently and get inspiration from other stuff too.
Thank you for that.
I know. What was I gonna say? So like, just to build off like the question that I just asked. So like, I know you don't like those sort of questions where it's like, what's your holy grail? What's like a realistic goal for you right now in regards to collecting? Because like, I know I do the same thing. Like, obviously there's the holy grail for me, but I try to set myself, realistic goals that I can try and accomplish, every sort of, let's say 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, things that I know for a fact that I can do if prices stay relatively the same. But what's something that you're working on right now that is, a goal, or what's something that you're chasing right now that is, still realistic, and that it's still in your, view for you to actually obtain?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things that come to mind, and number one, you may have seen this in my other video. I'm collecting sealed WotC packs and PSA grading them, and as soon as that video came out, PSA reveals this brand new slab that doesn't have to fold and I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
It was like 3 days before you bought yours, right? Like, I remember that.
I don't know, but I have a bunch there now, and I don't, any new ones, of course, I'm gonna want in the new slabs, but my old ones, like first edition Team Rocket and Gym Heroes and stuff, like I'm fine with for now. I might try to replace them later, and even if you could like re-slab it, there's gonna be a giant crease. Like, it's gonna look not so great. So we'll see what happens. But continuing to add more of those packs into my collection, I just picked up some Gym Heroes long crimps. I also picked up some Team Rocket long crimps. The long crimps are very low population. In Gym Heroes, there's only 2 out of PSA 10 for each of the pack artworks. And so I'm going to send those in, and that's pretty fun. So I'm going to try to get 50% of WotC by the end of the year. That's my goal, and it is a little bit more on the expensive side, especially with where things are at now, but slowly but surely. And I'm collecting things, I'm selling things that I think, I sold all my waifus recently, and I came up really big on that because everybody's buying them now.
Smart man.
So I sold, dude, that Skyla I pulled, Izzy, on your stream, do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think I sold that for like $60.
Whoa, you told me you were giving it to your daughter or son?
No.
I remember that.
Gold cards.
I'm about to. Oh, was it the gold one?
My son collects gold cards. I'm not giving a Skyla that looks like that to my daughter either.
I remember. Somebody check the tapes right now. I'm just kidding. Have you thought about? Oh no, go ahead and finish your statement.
No. I was just gonna say, like, just working toward those things, and then also continuing my promo collection. I found some really interesting older promos that are really fun and interesting. So you'll see videos.
Okay. Do you ever thought about like grading do they grade modern sets? Like, is that your goal? Is it just WotC, or are you going to dive deep into the modern as well?
It's WotC to start. I think that a part of me was like, okay, that will give me credibility in the space, and I think that that's something that I could. Oh, Pat Flynn. Oh, he's got all the WotC slabs in PSA 10. Like, I want to have somebody say something like that to me so that I can, get into other spots and be able to serve other people and grow sort of more organically that way. But I think modern, definitely, obviously, if you were to slab that now and 10 years down the road, that stuff's going to be worth something too, for sure. I mean, it's guaranteed. This is not investment advice, but I think it would go up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, something's always gonna be worth something. We just don't know how much.
Yeah. I open a lot of modern, and I've noticed they have this like indentation of when they print their labels. Like, their printing is almost as bad as the cuts, in Burning Shadow. So I was just wondering. It's just a random thought that I had.
Yeah, the foils are kind of diagonal sometimes. It's kind of
if I can
messy.
show it on the thing. I like pulled this from Burning Shadows. I'll show the stream. Y'all might not be able to see it, but they have come on, focus. It's not gonna. Oh, there you go. And it has like that right there. There's a line right there. Y'all can kind of see it. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I've noticed that a lot of packs have that. Like almost all of them. So I was just wondering. But
anything else, Pokemon?
Anything else, Pokemon? What?
Yeah, like do you collect anything outside of Pokemon?
I collect Back to the Future memorabilia.
That's right.
I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. I have all the hoverboards from Back to the Future 2. I have, you can see the shoes over there, the Nikes, as well as the hoverboard. And I have my prized possession in that collection is a 70 millimeter film reel from a trailer of Back to the Future that was played in 1985, which is pretty sick. And I haven't put it on a reel or anything because I'm afraid of it breaking. But I've put it up to the light and stuff. You could see some of the scenes. It's pretty dope.
Cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, just watch it disintegrate as soon as you try it. Yeah, that's sad. Let's not imagine that.
It's like when it comes to like some of the more like probably with my toys, I'm very, very careful with that because it's like I don't want the glue to basically come undone from the actual card. So yeah, I'm very, very careful about my toys. But yeah, let's get into our good old Q&A session.
I'm gonna cue it off, kind sir. Q and wait, sorry. Oh, Q&A starts now. Okay. All right, Q&A stars now. Great. English is hard. Sorry, guys. What did Polo say? Ask Pat, when are we cracking that Tesla tequila?
Yeah, that's another thing I'm collecting. A lot of Tesla-specific memorabilia because Elon Musk likes to create things like a troll and sell them like shorts. He's created a surfboard. And I just bought two $250 bottles of Tesla tequila, which is in a really cool bottle that looks like a lightning bolt. And I'm going to keep them sealed, but I might open one when Tesla hits $2 trillion in market cap.
Ooh.
PokeCobe, Basic Trainer, we did answer that Pat Flynn did answer that during the podcast.
Yeah. Enneagram 3, nice.
Are those replicas or real shoes, Pat?
I think
those are replicas.
The mags.
Yeah, the mags. Those are replicas that I got on eBay, still at like $300, and I bought them in 2015 because I was invited to do a keynote in Vegas on my 30-year on the 30-year anniversary of Back to the Future, and I made the whole presentation about Back to the Future. I actually came on stage in a DeLorean, and I came out in my Marty McFly oversized jacket, the hat, the shoes, everything, and then I got up on stage and I told I think 6,000 people how to future-proof your business. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. RT Smith said, any thoughts on silver? Like the the like silver goldish, or are you talking about like?
Yeah, that's probably what he's talking about, because right now, you know how AMC and GameStop are kind of doing the Wall Street Bets thing. A lot of people are putting silver into that camp as well, which is really interesting because I think it's because there's a lot of short sellers for silver, and that could be a play. But I'm not in any of those. I would much rather put my bets on companies that I know a lot about and I have product of and am very involved with.
Badly oh, go ahead, Chief. Sorry.
What are your thoughts on the shiny Mew from the Koro comics?
I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know much about that.
I'll just go ahead and answer it. I think with the Koro Shining Mew from Neo, it's like the Neo Destiny version. It's Neo Destiny with the symbol, but it's Japanese. It's the
okay.
Mew. The foil is like very, very delicate. It is it's a pretty difficult card to grade. I think any card with that sort of galaxy foil is automatically going to be very, very difficult to grade. And with that, I mean, the prices just keep going up with that because a lot of people want to have that full Neo Destiny Shining Pokemon card. Like that's the first Shining Mew card. People want it, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll have.
I mean, it's worth. I mean, honestly, I would buy it, but I'm not going to tell you how to collect. Another question is that do you have the this is not a flamethrower from the Boring Company?
That is, yeah, I don't have that one. I didn't get it in time, but I know a bunch of people, a lot of my friends who do have them and have used them for many a various thing.
I know David Dobrik uses it all the time. I want to buy it, actually. Like, I'm looking at one right now. No, you don't.
Are you serious, Shiv? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying it.
Lance said, does the price value of modern cards catching up to vintage cards? I guess it's the price value of modern cards. What does?
What does it do? Could you clarify that a little bit more, Lance? I think Amazing Rays will do amazing well long term, especially the Ray. Okay, that's fair. Hey, thanks for the info on the Pokemon boarding pass. Hey, appreciate it, man. Collecting film frame cards. Jeff the Ref. I was. So just sort of be completely transparent. For every Topps 2000 box, there is one film frame card per box, as well as a first appearance Pokemon card. With those cards, they are still very much difficult to grade. I graded 3 of them back in February, I believe. They all came back. 2 of them were 7s, and 1 of them was a 6. I sold 1 of them to Jordan Fringe. I sold the other 2 I sold 1 on eBay, and then I sold the other one to Whatnot. But essentially, I think those are very, very niche items. I think there's a lot of room for niche cards to grow, because if you look at Topps cards in particular, they bottomed out, right? They're like, a lot of people see them as worthless cards, but they're not making those cards anymore. They're not making any of those booster boxes anymore. They're going to be worth something. I mean, obviously it's going to be worth something, but I think that when you see things that, hit rock bottom, I think that they have nothing but up to go. And I just think that in the end, I mean, I think Topps cards could actually become something. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but I think the more of the masses in regards to Topps cards, I think when more of the masses becomes educated on the niche side of Pokemon, then you're going to see that jump up. It's sort of like today, right? Where the no number Top Sun Charizard card sold for $480,000. That was a very, very niche card. And I think that trend is gonna continue as long as Pokemon tends to keep having eyes on the hobby.
You think phone cards are gonna go up too, and that's gonna be a fun sort of niche within the non-regular card collectible area?
So I actually asked this question to Pokemon Radar that he answered on his podcast. He believes that the reason why I asked this is because I have a BGS 9.5 phone card myself.
Oh, nice.
It's a Pop 1, but he said no, and the reason why is because of the fact that the only phone cards that are worth significant value are the ones that are tied to TMB, which is a tournament. But the one that I asked was specifically this one right here. I don't know if you guys can see. It's a 9.5 BGS Famitsu Magazine Pichu and Friends card, and it gives me a lot of Nintendo Pokemon Stadium 2 vibes to it. And this is the only one that's out there but I don't know. I mean, I collect it because it's very unique, but there's no telling what it's gonna be worth. It's old. It's tough to find, but who knows? I just like collecting
That's
stuff
cool.
like that.
Thanks for sharing that. Awesome.
Yeah. Once you create a seal box, you see anything that stands out?
Yammer says Mario Pikachu Hanafuda deck for sleeper.
That is a sleeper.
I bought 2 of those.
It's really expensive though. No, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're it's climbing. I know. Pat has sent me some videos in regards to that, and I was like, man, I know what these cards are. I know Omosh has them, and it's like they do look really cool. I think anything that has Mario and Pokemon combined, I think that's something that could potentially go up. Let's see. Sales room to go. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, what are your guys' thoughts on limited Pokemon art collectibles like the Daniel Arsham pieces and Bear Walker boards?
Yeah, so the Daniel Arsham is the sort of crystal, sort of stone-looking Charizard, and I think Pokemon Radar picked up one. I think I did get the version 2 of the Bear Walker Pikachu board that just came out, by the way, despite there being website problems for Pokemon Center.
Lucky.
I think there is always going to be a niche for that kind of stuff for people like Shiv, who wants like the super unique stuff that most people can't get anywhere else. And I think especially anything that has limited edition, like just people's mindset goes to FOMO, right? And the more FOMO there is, the more potential value there is in that thing because it's scarce. This is just the law of economics, right? Lower product, higher demand, right? And higher prices. So I think there's definitely room for that. And it'll be interesting to see where they go. But there is a correlation, obviously, between the cards and the collectibles. They kind of both support each other, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think eventually, we're starting. Like I saw something very very interesting. So when the Mickey Mantle PSA 9 card sold for $5.2 million, the guy who bought it, Rob, he said something very very interesting. Right? I believe there's like 10. I believe there's like 100 paintings, 100 fine art paintings, and they're all worth over $100 million in value. And when you see Pokemon, in particular, we're seeing things climb up towards that, and we're really close to seeing a card that will eventually sell for $1 million. I don't know if that's gonna happen this year or next year, but just to sort of see, collectors look at Pokemon cards in particular, and they see a card like this, and they the first thing they talk about is the art, and it's just one of those things where. You have collectors who are already framing this up and putting it on their walls, and it's just one of those things where I'm very, very positive as to see where Pokemon goes in the next 10 years. Like, so many people are talking about this year in regards to the 25th anniversary, but I'm looking towards the 50th anniversary of Pokemon. I'm that patient. I want to see where things are 25 years from now. And so I really do see so much potential in regards to where Pokemon is going to go, and I mean, hopefully we'll see Pokemon hit those fine art prices. And so, like, when we talk about Daniel Arsham and those limited pieces, I think the same thing applies. I think people will definitely flock to those limited pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shiv, I think you have an answer for this one. So when does the market drop dramatically? It's definitely going to happen, but when do you think?
I think the moment, for me personally speaking, I think the moment PSA starts putting out slabs very, very fast, I think that's when it will happen. I think that there's just so much, like, we talk about pop, right? We talk about population so much, but there is just so much cards that are still backlogged from PSA. My question is like, if all of these cards come back on the market, what happens to the values then? You're going to see people who are going to try and undercut each other, specifically on cards that are very, very high in pop. There's a lot of people in the Pokemon community who flip bulk graded cards all the time. And I'm personally waiting on a July submission that's bulk. There's no telling the damage in regards to what the wait time is going to be for people who submitted right when Logan Paul came into the hobby. There's no telling. So I think we got some time to go, and I personally speaking, a lot of people hate PSA right now, but I feel like a lot of these grading companies who are taking a long time to put out cards, I think they're part of the reason why this market hasn't collapsed yet.
Yeah.
Do you think that the market drop will not happen everywhere at the same time? Like, I think what I've been noticing is there's different niches, right? Like, the PSA stuff I think is going to get hit, like you said, but then the older vintage stuff that's getting cracked open all the time, that's not going to go down at the same levels, if at all, right?
It will have an effect, but I don't think it'll be drastic. Like, let's say Sun and Moon stuff, or let's say Sword and Shield stuff. So that's just my thought process. Like, things that are that already have a lot of that are easy to grade, specifically Shield. Things that are very, very easy to acquire. I think things that are very, very difficult, to grade or to find, I think those cards aren't going to be hit at all, because at the end of the day, there's still going to be a huge aspect of desirability for those cards.
You want to do 2 more questions and then call it?
Yeah. What's the current product? Okay, for you, based upon you're relatively new to the space.
Yep.
So what do you see right now that you believe that's going to hold considerable amount of value, that's going to stay relatively consistent in terms of value? You don't see too many dips in regards to the modern side of the hobby.
I think a lot of the fun sets, like Hidden Fates, I think are going to hold their value, especially when other PokeTubers are also supporting and saying these same things. I mean, you start to notice that they have a large influence on things like this, and everybody's saying great things about Hidden Fates. It's been like the best set for a couple of years, apparently. Everybody from SM Pratt to Twice Baked Jake to all of us. I mean, I think we all love Hidden Fates, and it's just a fun set to open. It's different than a lot of the other sets where you kind of have to go through the whole box before hopefully getting that one hit. Which is why I think Shining Fates is going to be, if it is similar to Shining Star V, it's going to be one that's up there too, that's going to hold a lot of value. I think that Battle Styles is going to be really interesting. I think there is a little bit of it's not going to be that good. Like, what are the chase cards? But it also introduces this new format, which I think for the TCG game, like, that's going to be, I think it's going to provide some history there. And I think long term it'll be good. It'll probably be really high pre-sale. People are going to just open it up like crazy because there's going to be a lot more of it, I would assume, than perhaps Shining Fates. And then it's going to dip, and then it'll probably come back maybe not quite to the levels like Evolution has, but a lot of the black and white stuff, that stuff's popping right now too. So,
yeah. I really like this last question. Like, kind of it generalizes our idea and what we may think of the future. I think it was at King Skull. What do you guys think of the upcoming sets? But before we answer that, and before everybody is thinking, guys, take a second to smash that like. If you're enjoying what you're doing, consider subscribing. Right? Yeah. It's free, right? I think it's free. It's free for me.
And let's talk about our sponsorship. So we are sponsored by TCG Stadium. They provide really, really great products at pretty decent prices. You can use our code PokeTeaTime on their website. That's pretty much it. I don't know if they just had their Jungle Box break or if that's already been concluded, but definitely go follow them on Instagram, TCG_Stadium, or you can go on their website, TCGstadium.com.
Awesome. So, yeah. What are your thoughts, Shiv, on it?
On upcoming sets?
Yeah.
I'm a really, really patient person. So what that means is that I see the window for vintage and very, very desirable cards constantly closing, because we're seeing cards, very, very old cards, very, very desirable cards, constantly hitting all-time highs. So for me, where I'm super patient, I'm super focused on the vintage side of the hobby. And, when FOMO dies down, when it comes to modern sets 4 or 5 years from now, I know the production when it comes to a lot of these modern cards. So I'm not really interested in buying modern cards right now. I will be a few years down the road, because it's still going to be relatively accessible for me in comparison to some of the stuff that I'm looking at right now. When I look at a Charizard versus Lugia Meiji card, and the population being super limited for that, I'm going to buy it. If I see a first appearance card on eBay, I'm going to buy it if it's in pretty decent condition. So
unless I buy it first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless you beat me to it.
I'm just kidding.
But the thing is that it's just one of those things. Like I think people shouldn't. I won't tell people how to collect, but for me, I'm not going to look at the most shiny thing right off the bat and feed off the hype and the FOMO with it. Plus, like I'm one of those types of people where if I'm not getting hype off of a modern set, that just means that there's going to be more modern sets for new people that are coming into the hobby to get used to or get acquainted to or buy for the first time and then open that and then fall in love with the hobby. I fell in love with a particular part of the hobby years ago, and that's something that I'm used to. So I'm only going to collect just that.
Nice. I am investing in a little bit of each. I have a few ETBs, the EV ETBs, and I have some battle styles. I have a case coming. I might crack open a few on the channel, but I'm going to hold it and literally put it away and forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then by the time, things come back, or if, I don't care what happens. If it dips, goes up, goes down, it doesn't matter. Cause like you, Shiv, it's a long-term play for me. Yeah. And I'm feeling like I'm here to stay. I'm sort of still finding my way and carving my own niche, but I think that those will provide opportunities for sure for doing something fun with later, whether I sell it or open it and be nostalgic about the 2021 post-pandemic cracks that we used to do, all that kind of stuff. We're kind of writing the story as we go.
Yeah. I do the same thing. I always buy like a case or two. I don't know about now because people are like, we're not giving allocations till now, but I do try to keep a case, and I'm personally super excited. I'm more on the modern side and less on a vintage. At this point, it's more 50-50 for me, like seeing the trends. But a part of me thinks, and I don't want to stir up anything, but the scarcity we're seeing now is just the beginning. I see a lot of theories out there, and it makes sense. Like how much attraction, how much eyes Pokemon and the plans they have for 25th anniversary. After seeing this boom after last year, and now we're having a 25th anniversary. They brought Katy Perry in. They're pushing it harder than ever. I don't know. It's just kind of scary thinking about all the factors that may attribute to something like this. So it makes sense to me. But I'm excited. I'm happy. And I can't wait till mid-year. Yeah.
I think that wraps everything up. Yeah. Anything else to say, Yizzy?
No. Other than Pat Flynn, thank you so much, man. This has been awesome.
Thank you guys.
You came, from someone in the chat that I'm like, oh, who is this? Hey, there it is. This random guy with a check mark. Who's Pat Flynn? Like, what is he doing here? To actually being on our show and, like you said, adding value. It's been awesome. I've been soaking in everything. I don't talk as much as Shiv, but I definitely appreciate both of y'all too. I like you said, I like being the dumbest person out of the group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what about you, Shiv?
I think that closes us out. I think, we really do thank you for joining us, and I hope that we continue to, feed off of each other and, provide value towards each other on a consistent basis. But again, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you guys have already done so much for me, and anybody here watching this, and especially you guys, if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Hope to see you on the channel.
Yeah. And I just want to say that we kind of look like a boy band over here.
Who?
Which
one?
All of us.
Like Backstreet Boys?
Man.
Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say it. But Backstreet Boys came out they did like an old tour, and they all had like beards and stuff. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, I'll tell. I was like invited. They got me tickets, and I decided to go. All right, there. And I was like, man, these guys are old. But okay. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. We do this thing. How do we end this? Do you remember how?
Yes, we do the sips up.
Sips up.
Deuces out.
Deuces out.
And then we're out.
We're out. You want to do it with us, Pat Flynn?
Yeah, yes. Go ahead. I missed the first part.
Okay.
All right, so sips up.
Sips up.
Deuces.
Deuces.
And we're out.
Okay. Was that it, or are we doing it one more time?
Yeah, we're doing it one more time.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. I got it.
You got it out? All right. Deuces, and we're out. See you guys. Thank you so much. Boom.
Thank you.